Trapmore gang, I am back. I know I'm late to this story, but it has finally happened. Finally, we have seen the first arrest in this David situation. And you know who it is. It's our boy, allegedly David's boyfriend, David's side piece, the guy who David was laid out on that couch with, had his little arm around. Something is going on with these guys, and it is true. Neo was arrested yesterday. All right. But the rumor has it is that David might actually be next. That's what they're saying, okay? So let's react to some of this news. I'll show you some of what people are saying, and then I'm going to hit you with some new info that's just come out that, like, it's not looking good for David. It's seriously not looking good for the man, for the big D4VD man. It's a very, very unfortunate. But look, finally, we're seeing the police take some steps to get some people accountable for this situation. And what's crazy is he was actually arrested all the way in Montana. Now, there was reports that David and all of his friends have fled the country. We were seeing Asia out in Oslo. You know, there was rumors that maybe David had already escaped America. Well, now we're seeing, okay, people are hiding out. They're going to Montana. They're finding other little states and hideouts, but it's not working. These hideouts aren't working, and fools are ending up getting put in cuffs. So let's see the reaction as far as the news talking about David's alleged boyfriend Neo getting arrested in Montana, and then I'm gonna hit you with some of what people are saying on Reddit and some of the stuff that seems to suggest David might be next. Look at this.
Breaking news is reported a friend of singer David has been arrested after allegedly failing to appear as a witness in a Los Angeles courtroom. According to TMZ, well-known streamer Neo Langston was taken into custody in Montana.
Well-known streamer. Are we sure? Well-known streamer?
With the help of local authorities who were assisting the LAPD. He's reportedly being held without bond and is being transferred to Los Angeles. This comes as an LA County grand jury reportedly moves toward indicting David in the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The teenager's body was found in the trunk of the singer's Tesla last year. No charges have been filed as of yet.
So you heard what they said, right? They said that the grand jury is potentially moving towards indicting David himself. Now, from what it sounds like, they wanted Neo to testify in front of that grand jury. They wanted him to talk about what he knew. There's been long-standing rumors that he actually was the person that moved the car with Celeste's body in it. That's what's been said by quite a few different people. So now we're actually seeing Neo getting arrested in Montana. And as they said in there, that was another interesting tidbit. They basically said that the local cops in Montana were working with the LAPD to bring him back. Now, I'm going to show you some new stuff from Reddit in a minute, okay, because there's rumors that he might have already bailed out and bonded out. But before we get to that, okay, let me just take a little look. Let's see what people are saying, okay, because I already saw the top comment on this, and it made me laugh, okay? They're saying that's his boyfriend, allegedly, all right? They're saying that's his BF. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. They're saying that's his alleged BF. I might have to look at this Bugatti later. They're saying they're dropping a new Bugatti. But basically, all right, they're saying, sound like this kid gay like at the pictures. I don't know, all right? They're saying, I remember the private investigator saying that it was a guy named Neo back in November. So this has been being talked about for quite a long time. How is this guy not rotting in prison? We got to give it some time. It says, how can you be forced to be a witness in a potential indictment if they didn't even charge David yet? But from what I understand, it's an indictment hearing. He had a summons to appear in court. Now he has a warrant, and now he's been arrested. They're gonna make him stand in front of that jury, in front of that grand jury. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is implicated in this crime. They're saying he might have moved the car, he might have been involved. They're saying there might have been a love triangle, and he wanted to be the one who was with David. So that's what some people are saying. But look, there's actually photos, and I believe perhaps even some footage of his Montana arrest going down. And honestly, I honestly never thought we'd see the day that there would be even a shred of justice for Celeste, right? Look, this is him getting arrested in Montana. This is a serious operation. You're seeing, I can see at least 3 cop cars here. It's a serious police presence, all right? I don't think Neo's really on nothing like that, but hey, they really were worried about, you know, something going down, okay? And this is going crazy in all of the David subreddits. So we're seeing a lot of talk, a lot of analysis. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger. Hang on. I'm on my little mobile setup because I am currently not where I usually am. I had to come and check out the Adam 22 fight, man. That shit was crazy. But I might do another video talking about that. But anyway, they're saying, oh my God, yes, I'm not going to lie. I really was kind of sad and tired today. But looking at Neo getting arrested has made me the happiest person in the world right now. God is good. People saying, what a bitch. What a pussy. They're saying these photos, he looks more somber than in his booking photo. And I'll show you his booking photo in a minute, but he's got a mugshot. We've really got in 2026 a Neo mugshot, and he's smiling. He's grinning ear to ear, right? This says he probably was given a Happy Meal before the mugshot and was delighted, lol. Nah, I thought the same, but someone pointed out to me that if they look sad and somber, it doesn't reflect well on their peers, like if they look scared. So it's probably a flex, like he's not feeling like that on the inside. On the inside, he's got bubble guts for sure. People are saying he just wanted to have a cool mugshot. They said he was going to end up on mug shorties. I didn't know that was a thing. I need to go look into mug shorties. That's crazy. I might need to find myself a little mug shorty. I'm not going to lie. It says, our joy, these fuckers really thought they got away with it. Leaving a dead body in a Tesla on a residential street. Truly criminal masterminds, all right? And you thought you could run to Montana. It says they arrested him in his socks. Then got him some shoes. Did they keep him outside so everyone in the neighborhood could see until someone got his shoes? That was mighty nice of them, man. That is crazy. Okay, so why the hell is he smiling? Holy shit. Yes, all right. Justice for Celeste, it's coming. So there was a video of the arrest that's been going around. I'll show you that, all right? We're really getting blessed with the content, all right? We're seeing, like, bruh, this is crazy. This is a day, the real day that we're all waiting for. You know the big day that we're all waiting for, right? You know the big day that we're all waiting for. But, okay, man, I just can't, honestly, I can't believe it. I actually cannot believe that we're really seeing anybody getting arrested in this situation. But true justice is coming. I think the fact that he is refusing to appear in front of the grand jury probably says a lot. Probably says a lot about what he knows, what he doesn't want to share. I wonder if him and David might actually end up getting charged together. Who knows? But this is the footage of him being arrested. This is crazy. Look at this. This is wild. Man, he thought he got away with it. He thought he got away to Montana. He thought he was laying low. This is crazy. Man. Justice is coming for sure. For sure. Man, I can't believe it. Actually can't believe it. So there's a lot of stuff on Reddit. I'm gonna run through a whole bunch of links with you guys in this video because I just feel like there's been so much going on. It's been a crazy 24 hours. It says David and his family better start looking up flights to LA. They might need to be in the Los Angeles area for a little while. They might need to bunk up with Dirk's family and them, all right? It says, I'm wondering if he'll get the 30-day contempt of court charge for not showing up as ordered. He will not have a bond. He will sit there for 30 days. And the thing is, if he keeps going against the court, he can keep getting 30-day contempt charges, no limit. It says, not showing up for a grand jury is horrible. It's serious shit. Never not just show up. That right there can ruin your life, especially being a witness. I hope those who do not know the law very well are learning something from this. You always show up, and if you can't, you better call and talk to someone. Also, for everyone, always lawyer up. If you can't afford one, then I highly recommend you start saving up for one. Or if your job comes with a company lawyer, get more information about that. I don't know if being David's sidekick comes with a company lawyer, but it should. It should. Without shoes, LMAO, savage, all right? They really arrested him without shoes. It's actually crazy, okay? It says, I wonder if David was in Neo's bedroom there when Neo got arrested hiding under the bed. I'm not sure. But people are saying, so happy this is the first arrest in the Celeste case. Let's go. Neo needs to take the immunity deal and flip on David. Let's get David's arrest next. Neo moved Tesla with Celeste in the trunk of the car on July 29th, 2025. We know it. The video knows it. He knows it. Neo and David are the reasons. Nothing has happened. They've kept their mouths shut. They're reading his Miranda rights to him, probably. Finally starting to see some justice. Okay, so he was, from what I understand, extradited to Los Angeles from Montana. And he's currently in Los Angeles. So, of course, SF, Steve Fisher Investigates on Twitter, has been talking about the situation. You know, it wouldn't be right if he hadn't. And it's basically saying Neo Langston has been extradited to Los Angeles. He's currently in custody with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Hashtag David. Hashtag Celeste. His bail was actually set at $60K. And I believe he did make bail. And as SF says here, he'll be out in the next few hours. That was 9 hours ago. Now let's catch up with what SF has been saying, because he basically has given a few little updates on this, okay? So he's basically said that Neo Langston bonded out at 9:41 a.m. this morning. He's no longer in custody, so there's no 30-day hold for not testifying in front of the grand jury. He's kind of getting off lightly, but he's on their radar now. He's bailed out. He probably has to stay in LA. He probably has to be nearby because they're going to have some questions for little Neo, okay? And I don't know. I see how he was cuddled up with David on that couch. I don't know how he's going to get down in the county. I saw some stuff on Reddit talking about he was in a notorious LA jail for a little minute. I don't know if he tapped. I don't know if this is a federal case yet, but like I don't know. Maybe Brick Baby got to tap in with my guy Neo and find out what's going on with him. Neo Langston was extradited to LA. Is currently in custody with the LA County Sheriff's Department. So this basically is a couple of updates. I didn't do an update video on this yet. I might do an update on it later, but this is basically the arrest warrant for the car. But this really is the big post that we want to read. Let's read this post. Let's get into it. So this is SF basically given the big update on Neo's arrest. He said the arrest of Neo Langston for failure to appear to give testimony, which are the exact words used by the sheriff's department when speaking with me, concerns me to a certain extent. Assuming this arrest is related to the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, targets are not typically called to testify in a case. At the state level, target letters are not always required, but subpoenaing a target without providing notice is extremely risky. A defense attorney would likely argue that any testimony was coerced. Had Neo received a target letter, he almost certainly would have retained counsel and invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. That makes me think that he is viewed as a witness rather than someone currently at risk of being charged. Did one person act alone in concealing Celeste's body? If this was a homicide, did a single individual act alone without a co-conspirator? I find that unlikely. This leads me to believe that Neo may represent a last-ditch efforts by prosecutors, a Hail Mary of sorts, because they do not yet have what they need to fully make a case. They may be attempting to pressure him into cooperating, potentially by offering immunity. Is Neo the last hope? So they're hoping Neo flips and maybe snitches on David. Maybe he knows too much. Maybe he knows a little something extra that's actually going to let them bring charges when really they're really struggling to bring those charges. Now, this says if that's the situation, it suggests that the case is largely circumstantial, which would help explain the prolonged delay. I may be misreading the situation, but when I learned of Neo's arrest, my stomach dropped. I'm deeply concerned about both the strength of the case and the pursuit of justice for Celeste. While charging one person is better than charging no one, everyone who bore culpability in this minor's death or in the concealment of her body should face the most severe punishment available under the law. However, it doesn't feel like that will be this case. Not to me anyway. Hashtag David. Hashtag Celeste. So he's making a very good point. He's basically saying that he believes that maybe the reason that they're arresting Neo is they really don't have enough on David to bring charges against him. This is a last-ditch effort. Maybe they're trying to put the pressure on him and maybe he's going to flip. But here's the thing. SF is one of the only, not the only people, but SF is one of those people who's been saying for a while now that he believes Neo was the person who moved the car with the body in it. There was talk that maybe the car was being driven around with its windows down. There was clearly something not right going on with that car for quite a minute. Okay, and it seems like Neo might be involved now. Obviously, okay, there's a long-running beef. All right, the Biggie and Tupac of the David situation is, of course, TMZ versus SF. So it's only right that we tap in with the TMZ coverage of this and find out what's going on. So this is the TMZ article. It says David's friend Neo arrested, failure to appear as a witness. All right, a local photojournalist posted photos from the crime scene, which we've already seen, of Neo's arrest in Helena, Montana on Thursday. Okay. And basically, he was arrested. He was booked into the Lewis and Clark County Jail in Helena, Montana on an out-of-jurisdiction warrant from LA County for failure to appear. Okay, and obviously we know now he's been shipped over to LA. And if you look at this, all right, this is probably how he's going to be bunking up if he ends up in the county again, all right? Hey, sounds gay, I'm in. And what is he in? He was in jail. That's what he was in. But he has bonded out now, okay? So Neo was transferred to Los Angeles. He basically was sent down there immediately, okay? And it says, while David remains in the crosshairs of investigators probing the Celeste Rivas murder, one of his friends, a famous streamer, is also in trouble now. David's friend Neo Langston was booked into Montana on the arrest warrant. A rep for Lewis and Clark County Jail, where Neo's locked up, told TMZ there was an out-of-jurisdiction warrant from LA for failure to appear as a witness, and he's held without bond. It's interesting because we know there's been a grand jury convened since November in the Celeste murder case. Multiple witnesses have already testified. Our sources have told us that David is likely to be charged with her murder. Now, TMZ, like to throw their little sources out there, okay? I wonder what sources they've got. But I swear every picture I see of Neo with David just looks sus as hell. Like the Hello Kitty hoodie with the ears, with the cat ears on it. Like he a cute little cat boy. You know, Neo is cute little. I don't know if he's his owner or if he's a fellow cat boy, but this is, you know what I mean? This all gonna come in handy in the county. That's all I'll say, all right? It says there was talk in the courtroom hallway. The grand jury could hear more witnesses in 2026. And if you remember, TMZ was one of the first outlets to basically cover that somebody had overheard in the courtroom hallway that apparently somebody was going to be arrested for failing to appear, but it was a woman. They kept saying she. They kept saying they're going to arrest her. All right. Look, Neo's a male. Neo's presenting as a male. He's definitely presenting as a more, more what how can I say? He's a male on a bit more of a spectrum, okay, but he's a male, all right. So I'm wondering if that was just cap, if that was maybe false reporting, a mistake that was made suggesting that it was a woman, but maybe it was Neo all along, or maybe there is actually another woman who might end up in the crosshairs of law enforcement. And one person that woman could be is, of course, the girl Asia, okay? Because Asia Collins has just left a comment on TikTok, all right? Somebody commented on one of her posts, said, "Speak out on what you know. This is a little girl's life that was taken," sad face. And she responded, she clapped back in the midst of Neo's arrest, and she said, "I understand how the public feels, but as of right now, to respect the investigation and Celeste Rivas' life, I have said multiple times I will speak about this when I'm able to." Now, a lot of people weren't happy about this. It says she finally used her name and didn't call her that girl. That was very disrespectful, and some people are upset when they say, body in the trunk. This is a real human being. This is Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She was a 14-year-old. She lost her life. She's much more than just a body in the trunk of some famous singer. But at the same time, Asia was mad disrespectful. Calling her that girl, come on, she's got a name. And I feel like her calling her that girl and not being able to bring herself to say the little girl who died and was found in the trunk of David's car, to not be able to say her name, to me reeks of guilt. But that's just my personal opinion. And maybe she's just traumatized by the situation and couldn't bring herself to it. But at least she said her name. All right, not her full name, but yeah, we'll take it. All right. It says when she posted the pic of her wearing the David hoodie, it was all I needed to see. She's repeatedly signaled that she is still Team David. She thinks she is so clean, but her hands are dirty too. A lot of people are saying I think she snitched, and people are saying yes, long ago. It says we get that the investigation is still ongoing. I just think she could offer her condolences in a more respectful manner than what she's doing now. She probably did most likely get ignored or missed because of how much this sub hates this girl, and I understand why, but there's been times when she respectfully denies not being able to talk about it, and people still act like she's trying her hardest to ignore the whole situation. People are saying Asia is a twisted piece of crap, just like her BFs. Her laughing about murder, her laughing while he's grinding up to a screen to two little girls, and you remember that clip that I showed you when he said, "I'm a gooner," and he's looking at kids, creepy as hell. I hadn't seen that until recently. That was out of line, saying he's a gooner. Her laughing about it. She knew Celeste and denied it. I hope she's going to get hers soon. This says, yes, she's going to act like she's an innocent victim because it's her only option besides admitting to being a piece of S, but she won't own up to anything. I mean, it seemed like she did. I don't know. I feel like the fact that they had another girl in their friendship group called Celeste, and it was like they had a decoy Celeste, and then she's like, I only knew the other Celeste. This is all a little bit too much, but hey, we don't know. And I do think at some point she does need to speak out. And some of those posts referring to the victim as that girl, I thought was a little bit out of line. Okay. A lot of people are saying she'll talk about it when she can. She can't take the pressure anymore. She's going to testify. She's not going to talk about anything related to the trial because during the trial, her words can be used against her. This is just saying she would ignore all of this. She's just looking for attention, okay? And she does like the attention. But look, here's what we're going to get to next. There's a few more posts going around some of these subreddits because they've been absolutely popping for the last few days. So obviously they're saying now that Neo bonded out, but this was going around just a few hours ago in the Dave Idiot sub, and this basically says until he makes bail, he was being held at the Twin Towers jail with Nick Reiner. Like, Neo and Nick Reiner link up is actually insane. But basically this is saying its final update. We now know Neo bonded out of jail, and it was mentioned in this subreddit. But it says Neo was booked at, 11:27, and he bonded out at 9 in the morning. So he spent the night in the Twin Towers jail, and interestingly enough, right, some notable inmates that have spent time in this this wonderful establishment. You've got Robert Durst, real estate heir and killer, The Game, Freddie Gibbs, Ron. I don't want to know what's going on in the Twin Towers. They had Ron Jeremy, Johnny J, Paris Hilton. All right. Conrad Murray, Michael Jackson's personal doctor. Nick Reiner's there now. Steve-O's been there, and Harvey Weinstein's been there. So this is like the Avengers of just fucking Hollywood weirdos and scumbags, all right? But Nick Reiner linking up with Neo, I would have loved to have been the informant in the cell for that one. Basically, this says, for comparison, Nick Reiner's inmate information shows he was booked on the 15th of December and housed until the 18th. It's possible Neo already made bail, and his housing will never be updated to the Twin Towers. We'll keep an eye on it. So it sounds like he spent the night there. That's actually crazy. Harvey Weinstein is a notable alumni of the Twin Towers jail. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, you might have seen the video that I did. Like, this is probably a few weeks ago now, but I did a video about his mother because basically, like, they exposed his mom as being this, like, famous Hollywood producer. She put him in, like, a really creepy film about her sex life when he was a kid. And, like, his mom is apparently, she's selling courses on, like, how to make content and how to be a YouTuber and stuff. And it was just bizarre. So, look, he's a Nepo baby. All right. He's definitely, like, getting bailed out by his mom. 60K bail. I think it's done. He's already out, but yeah, that was crazy. Like, I wonder what his mom's thinking of this whole situation, and like, you know, I wonder who he knew in Montana, because his mom is actually from, well, his mom actually lives in LA. So this was another interesting post that was going around that I saw. This is basically when it first came out that Neo's bail was set at 60K, and apparently he was actually in the custody of the LAPD gang division, which is really weird because obviously I know that the Celeste case is being handled by the LAPD's robbery homicide division. I don't know if there's overlap. I don't know if they're treating him and David and their little thing they had going on as some kind of gang or like conspiracy, but I thought that was quite interesting. Again, people are saying his mom should be able to afford the 60K. Okay, and look, she'd be selling those content courses on YouTube that I talked about in the previous video. So it says, does that mean that he was brought in by the LAPD gang division for gang activity, or does this mean something else? I mean, it's basically saying maybe those are just the ones that picked him up at the airport. They don't know if this is typical for extradited offenders, but it says the warrant for his arrest was actually from the robbery homicide division. So it's that same division that's basically putting these charges on him, or putting, you know, this hold on him for not appearing at the grand jury. It says, my understanding, a grand jury attachment wouldn't provide bail, so I'm very curious what he's been arrested for, and if we all got it wrong yesterday and he had actual charges. Now, what is interesting, okay, it says apparently the LAPD gang activity listing is used for agency descriptions that aren't necessarily always gang cases frequently, and they actually used the same description for Nick Reiner, and that definitely wasn't any kind of like gang related crime. So in light of this arrest, there's been more kind of like, you know, unsettling stuff going around and unflattering stuff about Neo going around. This is a clip from Jason the Ween's stream, basically talking about how Neo was kind of weird off stream, and I haven't actually seen this yet, so let's check out what he was saying about Neo.
Whose friend? Bro, it's occurred that I talked to him at all, bro. Not since I actually spoke to her and I was telling her, bro, this dude is weird, because I had this off-stream interaction with him and he thought like I was trying to press him. Oh my God, this is another story I just never told. Fuck it, I'm gonna just say it. Okay, so that night I went to Tari Yummy's birthday party. Okay, obviously he was there. All right, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Sakura was drunk, and then I was. Oh, leak. Ah, fuck. Nah, he was low-key like following her on some shit, and then and Sakura was drunk, and I was like trying to move him around, talk to mad people.
So he's saying Neo was at the party following girls around and stuff and being kind of creepy.
I was with Cutie and Hassan and even Ludwig, I think, that night. I mean, no, Ludwig was not there, but like Valkyrie was there. I was just talking to everybody. I was just Sakura was just having fun and shit. And then I would come back, and Neil would like try to like, I don't know, I guess he was like following Sakura. This is all alleged. Oh, apple juice. Nah. Yeah, apple juice. She was not. Yo, she was on the apple juice. She was on the apple juice. She wasn't actually drunk. She was on the apple juice. This is all alleged, and this is a fake story. But yeah.
Yo, like, I don't know if this guy is really joking around or he's admitting to crimes. He's admitting they out here getting minors drunk. Like, yo, you're all sounding awful in this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was following her, and then I went up to him very nicely. I was like, yo, not gonna lie, like, this is my girl, right? I appreciate it if you just like backed off. Like, I didn't say those words. No, I definitely said something like that. And I was like, yo, can you chill, bro? Like, this my girl. Like, you gotta relax. And then yeah, the night after, he like texted Sakura a long ass paragraph saying like, "Yo, Jason man moving mad weird. Jason's like, Jason's this, Jason's that." All I said was like, "Yo, you gotta chill out. Like, you're following Sakura, like trying to be touchy on Sakura and shit, while she's drunk and shit. Like, and he's trying to paint me as this guy, a bad person to Sakura. Yo, it was so weird, bro. He was so weird. He was so weird, bro. But yeah, I never liked the dude, so glad I could just say that now.
So he's saying he never liked Neo. He was weird. He was creepy to the girls at the party. All right. And look, I feel like I've gotten definitely a weird vibe from this guy. I feel like any of the stuff he's been included in has just had like it's just been a little bit unsettling. I haven't seen anything positive. I haven't seen him associated with anything positive. He really does just seem like a hanger on and somebody that's bringing bad energy to all of these things. Like, look at this comment. This says he's a predator. He likes girls when they're drunk or drugged up. He's into guys, yes, but he's twisted just like David, who I believe liked guys too. But little girls are his thing. They're sexual deviants and they can hang out together because they're attracted to each other and connected as they are fellow predators. Asia is one also. Just her sick ways aren't out yet, but she finds murder funny and his gooning to little girls. She may like to watch and participate in cruelty, but time will show what they are. Now, that is a little bit sensationalized, but that clip of like David and Asia on stream and they're looking at little girls twerking and he's talking about how much of he's a gooner, like that one was just like, bro, you two are fucking weirdos. Like, that is super, super weirdo. It says he was trying to get with another guy's girl to prove that he's not gay. Everyone has been saying for months he was in a relationship with David, lol, and it's obviously hurt his fragile ego. But following a drunk girl around, not a good look. Well done to Jason for telling him to back off and having his girls back. But it says that Jason did a collab with David and then tried to distance himself from him entirely. I don't buy what he's saying with any more credibility than Neo, Sakura, or Asia. They're all narcissistic, vacacious weirdos. All right. I mean, I'm getting that vibe too. So, as I mentioned earlier, obviously there were those original reports that the person that was originally going to be arrested for failing to attend the grand jury was actually a female. Now, some people have been kind of keeping track of these arrest record websites, trying to find out if David is going to get arrested, if somebody else is going to get arrested. And a lot of people are saying, is Asia next? She's from Cypress, California. And it sounds like people have kind of found a new arrest record here. They think that that's where she's from. And it wouldn't surprise me if she's next. I feel like if they're doing Neo like this, maybe they're doing her like this. She's not made it clear she's testified to the grand jury. So, Judge Mr. Neo, who else was in on this crime? And she is going to snitch on Asia. That's what people think, okay? Some people are saying it's a privately owned website. It's not necessarily true. So someone who posted that screenshot is lying. It's easy to put in someone else's name with beginning letters. So look, I don't think this is proof. There's no proof that Asia is next, but it says, get a grip. She did a live stream 3 days ago. If she had a warrant out, she never would have done that. That makes sense. But the one person who people think is going to get arrested, okay, is, of course, David. Now, this has been going around on David. It says David probably right now looking stressed, wondering when that knock on the door is coming. It says, indeed, let's keep our eye out on the Harris County Jail booking info website, okay? Or Waller County, if that's his parents. So, look, people want to say that I'm the biggest, like, just David hungry sleuth out here, but like these guys are literally on the booking websites, refreshing the page, waiting to see if David turns up. It is crazy, okay? And you know for a fact saying his butthole is puckering. That's wild. But it probably is. Obviously, this is Neo's mugshot. Okay, they're saying you're cooked. Why are you smiling? And this is also very unsettling. Like, that is actually crazy that's how he turned up for the mugshot. And look at the orange jumpsuit as well. Bro, it's actually insane. It says rich kids always think jail is a joke until the cell gets locked and it's 14 days of bologna sandwiches until LA comes to indict you. To extradite you. It wasn't 14 days. He's out already. It was one night. Also, did you see the other warrants next to his? Looks like a rough jail. Aside from the failure to appear cases, the criminals there have serious charges. R-word, murder, assault. LA County won't be a vacation either. All right? Saying this bitch is literally smiling. Right? So look, I'll keep you guys updated. I was a little bit late on this one because I was out watching the fight, the Adam Jason Love fight. That was crazy. I'm gonna do an update on my thoughts on the fight shortly. But yeah, this is crazy. This is actually probably the biggest thing that's happened in this case in months, really. I mean, we haven't really heard anything significant. I've been updating you in everything that I could possibly imagine, but there really isn't much to go on. But this, we're finally seeing at least the authorities are doing something to try and get to the bottom of this. I think that even though this isn't the arrest that everybody's been waiting for, I think that this is significant, and it goes to show you that they are going state to state to get people who are involved in this situation. And I would love to know whether this means he's going to be forced to testify in front of the grand jury. Is he going to keep running it up and just running away and not testifying? Is he going to get a 30-day hold like they said on here? I'm not sure, but I'll update you guys if I hear about that. And if David gets arrested, obviously that's going to be the craziest thing that we could possibly imagine. But I'm not sure whether it's going to happen. So anyway, rest in peace, Celeste. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and we'll just keep following this story, man. It's crazy, but appreciate that. I'm out.